This video is going to walk you through how to solve equations. This process will work for 1-step, 2-step, more than 2-step, any equations that you have. So we're going to start with a simple equation, x plus 2 equals 5. Now, if we walk through the questions, question number 1, is the variable alone on one side of the equation? Well, I can look at this and see that there's my variable, but it's not alone. There's something else over there with it on the left side of the equation versus the right side, and you know that you'll find variables on either side. So the first question, is the variable alone on one side? The answer is no. So we're going to move to question number 2. What is with the variable? Well, we already saw that what was with it was this positive 2 right here. Okay, so question number 3. What math operation is number 2, or the answer to number 2, doing? It is adding. We have x plus 2. It is adding. And so then question number 4. How do you undo the answer to question number 3? Well, the opposite or the inverse of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract a 2. And because the equation is equal, we want to do this equally to both sides. Now, I have not done anything to my x variable, so it will remain. My plus 2 and then my minus 2 were built by design to cancel out with each other. And my 5 minus 2 will give me 3. And I get to keep my equal sign because I did this equally to both sides. And so my final answer, x equals 3, and I can always take that answer and plug it back in to test to see if this is correct. If x becomes a 3, then 3 plus 2 equals 5, and sure enough, we have a correct x equals 3 as a solution. This process will work for all equations that you want to solve. It's just a matter of knowing what the inverse operation is and being able to kind of undo what's being done. Now, the advice I will give you is if you have an equation that maybe has 2 steps or more, you're going to want to start with question number 1 with every step. So let's go in here and say 2x minus 3 equals 11. The first question, is x alone on its side of the equation? Well, there's a 2 with it, and there's a negative 3. So there's a lot going on over there. And the way I like to explain this is that the further you get from the variable, the easier it is to undo the process. And since the 2 is attached to the variable, the minus 3 is kind of sitting off to the side a little bit. We're going to go after that minus 3 first. So question number 1, is it alone? No. What's with it? Times 2 and a minus 3. Well, we know we're going to go after the minus 3 first. So what math operation is the answer to number 2 doing? It is subtracting. How do you undo subtraction, or the answer to number 3? You add. So we'll add 3. Because it is an equation, we want to do this equally to both sides. All right, now I have not touched my variable expression or my variable term yet, my 2x, but I have now successfully canceled out the negative 3. I did this equally to both sides, and 11 plus 3 is 14. All right, now start the questioning over again. Number 1, is the variable alone on its side of the equation? Nope, still not. What is with the variable? A 2. What kind of math operation is the answer to number 2 doing? Well, it's multiplying. So how do I undo multiply? I divide. So I'm going to divide by 2 equally to both sides. And what I find is that the 2 divided by 2 on the left side simplifies. It doesn't cancel out, but it does simplify. 2 divided by 2 down to 1. and this is what I call kind of the invisible one. You don't need to write it, but it doesn't hurt if you do. It's just not common. But I now have 1x, and that is equal to 14 divided by 2 is 7. Last step, let's plug this back in. So now we have 2 times 7 minus 3 equals 11. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 minus 3 is 11. Check.